All right, welcome back. It's time for us to get into a conversation in our community-focused, discussions that we have every morning. Today we take you to Huni Valley in the Prestia area. Now, there was a story brought to you July last year, and the story that we brought to you was about the Huni Valley SHS and the way some of the experience that we were having there, with bed bugs and all of that. It was just a horrible, horrible mess that they had. But there's been some good news. Goldfields has jumped to the rescue. Now, before we bring you that good news, let's take a look at this old report, show you what it was that was happening there, and then we'll show you the good news.
Huni Valley Senior High School in the Western Region was built in 1975 and has not seen much expansion or renovation. As a result, the current population of around 1,597 students is facing congestion due to lack of space at the various dilapidated dormitories. This dormitory is one of the two girls' dormitories of the school, facing incessant bed bugs infestation, forcing the students to dismantle their beds to sleep on the floor. Some of the students who spoke to Citi News anonymously while complaining about the bed bugs blamed the infestation on congestion.
Security man be any campus, has by almost a sweet. Ya won't share a power pruka. It's mess or name him na bassa, ya young conny. Yeah, Dawson. Former of the Becca, and I'm my which she is a Maya banner from our funny school. A pruka into to bed near your bed near before. Was here the bed needs why the bed form need to my intimate that pruka and high and pan.
Following the teachers' strike for cola, there was no school authority to respond to the issue at the time of our visit to the school. Meanwhile, as government drags its feet to address the school's years of congestion concerns, which have contributed to the ever-recurring bed bugs infestation at the dormitories, Goldfields Diamond Mines, a mining company which operates within the Prestia Huni Valley municipality through its foundation, says it will soon complete a 350-bed capacity girls' dormitory currently under construction to reduce the congestion.
We've actually sourced and ready to even procure double-deck steel bunker beds. So the beds are not going to be wood. I think GS going forward is looking at beds which are steel because of issues of insects and all that. So that's one of the things we are going to put in this facility. In terms of electrical works, we're going to provide fans for each of the dormitories, and as well for some of our targets in terms of green energy, we are using LED lights at this dormitory. So that's a little bit of what we have on the electrical. Apart from that, if you look at the space, which is 350 bed, the wings at the sides are where we have the washrooms. So each floor has 18 showers and 8 toilets. Each of the dormitories, we made room to have prefect dormitories in them so that you could have prefects taking responsibility for each dormitory. The right wing you see here are also master's accommodation, so that you could have teachers in here who would also have keen eye.
The students who appeared happy with the progress of work thanked them for coming to their aid.
Instead of master said that from my summer, and now Japan said, or my summer, or my semi sure pa. So, Mamma, why a pad and can be used could they manage our own conade, the are coffee. And the Dan will be saying, you said, I want to say, Palma, boy, pa. Ama, if it's me album, Ama, teachers in small, or more about some high down in your baby. I died down when I said, power down my man.
The project manager of Goldfields, however, said Goldfield is on track to completing the redevelopment of the Takwa DNA Park into the promised modern stadia by December this year.
I think that the first thing, which obviously we spoke a little bit about, is the rainfall pattern in Takwa here. Look, we had actually anticipated it, but it gets to a point where you realize there's so much rain that you could virtually do nothing, and you have to stop for some hours and all that. The second challenge and that we went through is obviously the COVID lockdown. Even though we hadn't had issues on site with regards to people getting infected, but during the lockdown, the contractor had to stop work because their support team in Accra couldn't support the project. And again, you could see there's a lot of earthworks that's ongoing here. There are some areas we anticipated to see some unsuitable material, but I mean, whilst we started the project, there were a lot more that we had to do to get the ground stabilized. So we had to do a lot of excavation and backfilling with boulders to make sure that we have the right platform to construct. Those are the three main challenges that we have had. So we are keen and very sure that December this project will be done and dusted.
All right, so that was the initial state of affairs. When the 360-bed SHS dormitory has been completed, let's take a look at this report, and then we'll get into some conversations.
These are not homeless people sleeping on the floor, but students of Huni Valley Senior High School who for years abandoned their beds for fear of being bitten by bedbugs. Female students of one of the girls' dormitory last year told Citi News in a report that the congestion in the dormitories, coupled with the dilapidated nature of the dormitory, aids in the spread of bedbugs, a situation that forces them to rather sleep on the floor at night. It is for this reason Goldfields Ghana, which operates in the pristine Huni Valley area of the Western region, through its foundation, put up this 360-bed capacity dormitory block with teachers' quarters to address the concern and help increase the enrollment of girls.
One of Goldfields' environmental, social, and governance targets is to increase the percentage of women on its mines to 30% by 2030. We believe sincerely that the best way to do this is to support the training of girls at the senior high school level and also at the tertiary levels of education. In 2019, the foundation approved the construction of a 360-bed capacity girls' dormitory with 4 two-bedroom apartments for teachers. The foundation invested over $980,000, almost $1 million in this project to help tackle the accommodation deficit for girls in the school and to reduce the number of female students residing in off-campus hostels. 65% of the student population at this school is female. That in itself is a huge one. 371 of the females unfortunately reside in off-campus hostels and homes, while the remaining 656 are boarders on campus. We believe this new facility will help significantly improve the level of education. So with this, we're going to have over 1,000 boarders on campus.
The MP for Prestia Huni Valley, on behalf of the school and his constituents, while thanking Goldfields Ghana Foundation, noted the intervention is timely for both continuing students and more especially Form 1 students.
Goldfields Foundation, we thank you so much. But then I must say that we can never talk about human development in this constituency or both Tapan Soyem and Prestia Huni Valley and leave out Goldfields Foundation. We can never talk about infrastructure development without mentioning Goldfields Foundation.
The quiz mistress of the National Math and Science Quiz, Professor Elsie Ifa Kaufman, who graced the occasion, emphasized the need for investment in Ghana's education sector.
We talk about development, sustainable development. In fact, worldwide, we have the sustainable development goals. Everybody wants to develop. However, it is not possible to see any development without investing.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, Suleiman Akuni, also encouraged more mining companies to invest in their immediate communities to strengthen their social license.
All right, so there you have that report there. Goldfields, Ghana, constructing a 360-bed capacity dormitory after the report that we brought you there. Now, we're going to have a conversation with some persons who will be joining us on the line shortly. But I think it's a very important thing for us to looking at all the secondary schools across the country and what sort of situation, what sort of state do they find themselves in. I mean, Pristia Huni Valley area is not that far away as in from a developed center, as it were, for them to be experiencing that level of deprivation and abandonment, you know, and from in many ways, it's a little disturbing that we had left it, you know, something that was a school that was built like in the 70s. We had left it to get into that state, you know. I think it's important for us to have a plan in place. I don't know what the assemblies, what the education ministry, GES and so on have in place in terms of maintenance. It looks like our focus is on schools, students, they're having their education, writing exams, and it's like that's what the focus is on. What about the experience of being in school? You know,
David,
the lessons it teaches you for life.
If you even talk about our focus being on writing exam and passing,
yeah.
Now I ask the question: is our focus even on that?
Okay.
Is our focus on that? Look, our focus is on nothing. I mean, sadly, but that is it. You know.
Why do you say so? Why do you feel
because
so?
we say that a healthy mind lives in a healthy body.
That's true.
Okay, we say that. Look at where teachers sit, where teachers use as their
in the
common room.
In the Bamahu.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Look
SHS.
at everything.
Yeah.
Do the schools have food? I mean, the basics that we need to ensure that students can learn, teachers can teach. Do they even have that? So for me, our focus is not even on teaching and learning. Our focus is not even on making sure that, because if our focus was on students doing well, passing, at least certain things in that regard will be in place. But if they don't have these, then you can't tell me that our focus is, we are bent on making sure that, look, I watch TV, you watch CNR, and you see the school placement system and what is happening. And I keep asking myself, for all these years, why are we still going through this? Why are we trying to solve a certain problem with another problem? We brought in the computer placement system to take care of these kind of paying bribes here and there, having certain students be in certain types of schools or class of schools, you know. But look at the number of people who have issues, the number of parents who have to travel far and near to the solution center just to correct something. Now, we read yesterday in one of the papers that somebody had two
sets of results, yes.
Look,
two
at this
different
point,
sets of results.
if we still have human beings standing there and all the time explaining something, look, I really pity Sika. You know, because if we all the time have to come and stand there and explain something, and sometimes these kind of things, you can't even explain them. They are indefensible. You can't even defend what is going on. And the problems are too many. You know, it translates to what we are seeing now. If we are focused on making sure that students learn, students are writing the exam, some of these problems from the scratch will be dealt with. Why can't we even figure out what the problems are to solve them? Look, all the issues we are dealing with today, next year, we will come back and talk about the same things. So you ask yourself, when we raise these concerns, what really happens? Nothing really. I mean, if there's something going on, we should know. You know, because it's a bit worrying that I send my child from home in a decent environment, and then you tell me you are educating my child, and they live like refugees. They live in bed-bug infested areas. You know, it is just unfortunate. You know, it's very, very unfortunate that some young people have to go through this. Look at the pictures, and these are the people who we are looking at, you know, to come turn the fortunes of the country around in future. But what training did you give them in their formative years when they were young students? What did we do for them? What kind of investment did we put in these children? We are creating, I always say, we are creating enemies of the state. So these people go through hardship, they go through difficulties, and then they become leaders, and you expect them to really do what?
Yeah. Well, we've been joined by the headmaster of the school, the Huni Valley SHS. Headmaster is Daniel Kobna Ado. Good morning, Daniel.
Good morning.
Yes, welcome to Breakfast Daily. Yes, so let's just find out from you. You've been a headmaster of the school for how long?
I'm in my 4th year now.
Your 4th year. Okay.
Yes.
And how do you feel about this intervention by Goldfields Foundation? Is it good enough? I mean, I'm sure you're happy about it, but is it good enough? Will it cater for the needs you currently have?
Right. We are so happy for this very intervention. It has come as a huge relief to management of the school, and we are very happy. But it is like a school with a female population of 1,027, and what we have here is 360 capacity beds. It has offered us a huge relief, but we will still have some few people who need to be also looking back to the boarding house. But it has come as a huge relief. We are very happy. We are grateful to Go First Ghana Limited. This is not the first time they have come here. In fact, Go First is also in charge of my science and math team, and they are poised to bring them to the national level this very year. So we are hoping, and we are with them. We thank them so much for all that they are doing for us.
Okay. So let me find out from you, what went into the decision to make it a 360-bed facility, considering the number of students that you actually have?
Okay, I think that the number of factors come to play, and that decision of the capacity building, the number of students that they will bring does not lies in my hand. In fact, for me, I wish that we can even get about a 2,000 capacity building so that we have all students and even grouping more. Because we have a target to just reach about 4,000 by the next 10 years. And so we wish to have more. But the group also have their target and the amount they set every year for those kind of interventions. And so I think that it was within their budget to construct what they have constructed for us. I think that as time goes on, we will also engage them, and then they will come in. The boys are definitely also looking for some. You can imagine the girls are seeing this, and the boys are not all that happy, and so I am sure that they will also come in for the boys too.
Okay, so are you going to be asking them right away to prepare for their next year's budget to include you?
This one does not lie in my power. They have an assembly of all the stakeholders within the communities around. And so at their meeting, it is the community that decide that, okay, we want you go to build this one for us. And so if the chiefs around agree that, in fact, at the commissioning, the chief asked them to wall the school for us, and this is one of the major needs of us. And so the chief has started with the conversation of them coming to wall the school. So I think that is what they will carry it out when they get to their next meeting. But it is the chief who tell the company or the Go Foundation what they want. It is not the other way around. So when the chiefs agree that, we want them maybe for the next 5 years, bring all your intervention to Universal Senior High School, I'm sure the Go First will have no option than to comply with them. So as the chief said about the walling of the school, the fencing, I think that is what for in the meantime we will go for, and then hope that afterwards we'll have some for the boys too.
All right. So I just wanted to find out the old facility.
Yes.
What's going to happen to it? Are you fumigating? Because there's a whole issue of the bed bugs and all of that. What's the plan to, maintain and keep that building in shape?
So thank you very much. I think that the reporter who came for the program, he had also taken a shot of the burden. You see that we have, in fact, painted all the school blocks around. We left a few of them that we are doing. Thanks to the people who came in to help with the painting. And so most of the blocks here have been painted. It is left with one or two or three blocks that we need to paint.
Okay.
It cost us huge amount. The day your reporter came around, he saw that there was no bed in the room. We had already dismantled the bed and then have sprayed it with a chemical. And so they were outside the room. And so the students there were on the floor. And so that has to reduce this a bit. But this bed bug fight, it is not one headmaster's fight. In fact, it requires the special intervention from the government. In fact, I must put on record that when we had the COVID break, before we came in, government came in to fumigate it. That one took almost about 1.5 years before this bed started coming again. And so if we can get it consistent for 3 years, that one, I'm sure it will just eradicate them from all the senior high schools in the country. In fact, it is not only in university. We have the bed that is in all the senior high schools. In fact, the old students and the PTAs of many schools are hurting. But I think that it's about time we make it an intervention, government intervention, coming for maybe 3 consecutive times. Then we push it off from our schools, and that will be all for us. All headmasters are suffering from this bed bug.
Yeah. All right. Daniel, we really thank you for your time. We appreciate it so much. Thank you. And all the best to you.
Okay, bye.
Yeah. All right, so that was Daniel Kobna Addo, who is the headmaster of the Huni Valley SHS. Clearly elated and understandably so. This is such a relief.
Of course. I mean, I can imagine, how he would feel as the headmaster of the school with all these complaints. Even in your own home, there are times that your kitchen is a bit dirty, your living room is a bit dirty, so you just close the door. You don't even want to see it.
You don't want to see what's behind the door.
Until you're ready to clean up. So if you have to deal with issues like these on a larger scale, I think that, as a father, the headmaster is the father of all these children, and probably as an older brother to the teachers and the staff. I can imagine how he would feel, and I think that we've come to a point in our lives, as a country where we need institutions like the Goldfields to step in. Because as it stands, look, there's very little the government can do. We shouldn't act like ostriches. It's very clear that if they can't even give adequate food, if they can't give what they've promised,
well,
if
they
we
would
still
argue
have...
with you about that.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay to do the politics with it, But behind closed doors, you have parents calling you. You have headmasters calling. You have teachers calling that this is the real picture
on the ground.
On the ground. But we can't speak up to it because people are afraid to lose their jobs. And so it's okay. But the thing is, look, you can convince yourself you are wearing a black tie. It's okay. But I see something different. So if you say your tie is black, let's just leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that,
But everyone else comes in and see that it is orange, it's pattern. So I think that we have real challenges, and we will count on institutions like Goldfields, institutions that are doing well, individuals who are doing well to step up and help. Because look, if you are not directly affected, you probably would know somebody's child, extended family, a friend's child. It goes and comes back to us, I always say that, look, if we do not correct some of these things, we don't live in isolation. And so you would do well, your children would do well, but the enemies of the state that we are creating will come after you. And so you realize that everything you've achieved comes to nothing. Because if you're afraid, if there's no security, if people are coming chasing you after us, look, if anything happens, the community we are breeding on the street it is the people they perceive to be doing well, the affluent, who they will come after first. So it's okay to be in big cars and do all the bougie stuff, but you be the ones they will come after first because they know that you have it and they can take from you.
Well, we've been joined on the line by the Executive Secretary of the Goldfields Foundation, Abdul Razak Yakubu. Good morning, sir.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, so welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you, I'm very grateful.
All right, so talk to us about the inspiration that led Goldfields Foundation to invest in this project at the Huni Valley SHS.
All right, thank you very much and good morning to your listeners. Yeah, so Goldfields actually operates one of its mines in the Pristia Huni Valley municipality. So Huni Valley is one of the communities we consider as our host. You know, as a multinational company working in Ghana, those communities that have so welcomed us and have lived with us in peace and in a conducive environment that has led to the business thriving, we feel it as a responsibility, a corporate social responsibility to also give back on top of the statutory payments we make to the state and all that, to also put some money aside and give some projects back to the community. So basically that is the motivation. But as the headmaster said, in deciding which particular projects we support, we depend heavily on the local community. So we have this committee called the Consultative Committee that meets quarterly. It was through one of such meetings that the community leaders made an appeal to the foundation to intervene in the accommodation challenges that the school was facing. So this project has actually been 2 years in the making. We started gradually pumping money into it every year, and thank God last week we were able to hand it over.
Yeah. Now, Abdul Razak, there's a principle of yin and yang in life. Now, what you do to the left, you have to do to the right. So you give them a girls' dormitory. When is the boys' one coming?
Interesting question. Yes, we would have wished to do more than we have, but then again, the responsibility unfortunately cannot be solely ours. We are happy with this intervention. We have caught the attention of everybody in the country, especially through the reportage by Citi TV and Citi FM, Citi Online. It is our hope that other institutions or even the state would also come in to support us in supporting them. As we meet this consultative committee on quarterly basis, the requests are numerous and heavy, and it's not everything that we can commit to at this point. Our doors are open to other partners who also are concerned about education. So we could put our resources together. Maybe a synergy between us and other foundations could help maybe bring relief to the boys as well. But the statistics as presented by the headmaster shows that it's actually just about 371 of the girls who are currently not accommodated on campus. So our motivation was to bring at least all of those girls, or most of them, to campus accommodation. The risks associated with having these young ladies stand by the roadside after school every time asking for a ride to their various homes, those risks are quite serious. So that has been, so we are happy at least 99% of the problem with these students, the girls have been solved. The school has 55% girl population. I don't know if that is the normal trend in all senior high schools, but 65% girl population was quite huge, and we believe after cutting that problem, the rest isn't too big. Let's see what happens.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you very much for speaking to us this morning. Really appreciate your time.
Too. Thank you.
All right, so we'll be speaking with Abdul Razak Yakubu, the Executive Secretary of the Goldfields Foundation. Yeah, this is a good story, you know. And
it is.
I think that sometimes all the trouble and all the wahala and all the drama that we bring to you, or challenges that are happening in different places, once in a while it's good to hear some of these good stories.
But of course, because David, especially places where we have these multinationals come in, take huge concessions, I think it's appropriate that they give back to society. And I think some companies are doing that. But we can really support, others to also do same, like solve serious challenges, serious problems in these communities. I saw the Honorable Kwadna Ochida there, the regional minister. I saw Dr. Kaufman also there. There was a chief as well, So I think that if we can have traditional leaders and political leaders come together and say that, look, this is our community. When people are coming in, when multinationals are coming in, let's have a certain conversation with them. Let's look at the challenges we have in this community. If it's a hospital, if it's access to potable water, if it is education, let's agree. Let's commit them to take up this task or project as their CSR, let them do something that will benefit from the community. I think any multinational would do this, and like Goldfield's Foundation said, Huni Valley is our home. And so we are also concerned, So what about all the other people that we have in some of these areas? Do they consider the communities as their homes? Or they just come in, we have a certain agreement with government. We are here to do ABC, but CSRs and some issues are not really what we are here for. I know that it is part of agreements and stuff for you to also give back to the society, but who is monitoring this? Do we follow through? Would they just come in and give money, grease the palms of certain high-profile personalities so that they skip the basic things they have to do? I think that we should commit that, because as it stands, we need to change the strategy.
We do.
Look, the problems are too many. I'm looking at government fixing my road, that pothole in front of my house. I'm looking at that. The students at Huni Valley are also looking at getting their dormitory. The hospital at Bimbela is also looking at the problems are many. We will need people who can support to come in. But I think that sometimes we should be a bit stern about it. We should be a bit deliberate about it, not leave it to people's benevolence and if they want to and if they don't want to. Let's sit down and say that, look, where we are, certain things we can't do, so that we can let government concentrate on the road networks and the bigger projects and stuff like these. But when it comes to the school blocks, and all these, I mean, you see some of these things and it's beyond everything. It's very embarrassing. You don't even want foreigners to see that this is what we are doing to ourselves, with all the monies that we go borrow and come and do stuff, I think that the nation's future depends on the education of their children today. If we lose that, if we fail the children, we have failed ourselves as a nation.
We have, absolutely. Well, why don't we just take a quick break, all right? If you want to go to the bathroom, wherever you want to go, just feel free to do that.
Don't go to the bathroom, just grab it. Creamy Plus.
Well, but if you've grabbed the Creamy Plus earlier, you may need to use the bathroom now.
Do you want to go to the bathroom?
So we'll take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.